And welcome back to Hannity. As the Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston continue to recover after last week's tragic shooting, the outpouring of love and the outpouring of support from across the country has been a source of healing for the families of the victims. Alana Simmons, granddaughter of Reverend Daniel Simmons, who was killed in the attack, talked about coping with this tragedy in an emotional interview yesterday. Take a look.
We just want to focus on our grandfather and the other victims and making sure that the communities and the families heal. Charleston has been a great example to the rest of the country as well. We just really, really appreciate how everyone has come together, and like people of all races, all religions, genders, orientations. At the prayer vigil we went to Friday night, everyone was there, and it was just so overwhelming and just so wonderful to see everyone coming together, not to bash or to talk about the suspect, but to celebrate the lives and to heal together.
Joining me now are members of Reverend Daniel Simmons' family, granddaughter Alana Simmons and his widow, Annie Simmons. Welcome to the both of you. As I look at that picture of you and your family, I see a beautiful, loving family. No one can imagine the tragedy, but you're strong, and your statements, Alana, just unbelievable. First to you, Alana, how are you doing now, and how do you feel?
I'm doing remarkably well. Actually, I've had a lot of support from the community, from family, from friends, and I would like to say myself and my entire family, we're doing remarkably well, thanks to everyone's outpour of love.
I can't imagine losing a husband, losing your mate. When you look at the community around you, what do you hear? What do you feel? How does their support come through to you?
For the past few days since this incident happened, it has been an outpouring support from the community, the church community, the corporate world community, and many friends. And I really feel very strong, very grateful, and I'm thankful. And I'd like to say at this time, I send a heartfelt thanks to everyone for their great support and outpouring of love.
When the two of you and your family members are together, and again, you know, not being there, the country looks, but they see the images. How do you take the discussion beyond what just happened? What else do you talk about?
Well, we pray. Before we discuss anything, we have family prayer. My grandfather was big on that. Whenever we went anywhere, before we ate, before we did anything as a unit, we always had a prayer. And before we started with interviews and speaking to the nation about our grandfather, we had a prayer and a discussion, open floor, and we just decided, like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to honor our grandfather as he would have had it if we were here, if he were still here. And we're going to talk about the things that he loved. We're going to talk about loving each other. We're going to talk about making sure that we, as well as the other victims, heal from this tragedy.
Mrs. Simmons, when you interact with the younger members of your family, maybe those that don't understand quite as well as a parent or as a grandparent, how do you speak with them?
As my granddaughter mentioned, prayer was a part of our family. Before we begin our day in the morning, we pray. This is where we gain our strength from, because we look to the Lord. When I communicate with the grandchildren, it's always love. We do things together, we enjoy each other, and we have a great time.
And to piggyback on that, my mother came up with this quote. She got it from my uncle.
Yes.
And it said that when we were talking about how, you know, could God allow something like this to happen in his own house, she said that she heard this quote somewhere that said, God allows what he hates to accomplish what he loves. And that's we've seen that here in Charleston. To be honest, on my way here, we were nervous. We didn't know what the city was going to be like when we got here, considering the circumstances of what had just occurred. But when we got here, it was just an overwhelming, calming peace. And we just can't say how much we appreciate the love and the support from everyone.
Well, I can say this, that you two actually helped lift my spirits. Hearing you talk, seeing the love between your families. You're so well-spoken, Alana. You've got a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you.
And Annie, just amazing. This shows family, how it works great as a unit. You're both a great example. Thank you.
Thank you.